All right, so we have a Corsair, level 235.
Yep.
You're in the second best guild in the game. That's good.
I'll be there. I'll be in the main one soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, you're 235, so you're probably qualifying at this point, right?
I think so. Yeah. I think my stats kind of low for my, but I mean, we'll get into all that. But
Yeah, you're just grinding
yeah.
out hardcore and getting those levels in.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. So I little background about a year. I played Maple, of course, as usual when I was young and everything. Kind of came and fell back a few times, and then about a year ago I started playing again consistently after I tore my Achilles.
Ooh.
And then I started out in Barra and was playing there for a long time. And then I quit again after the last December update. I played for that for a little bit and then quit for a little bit and came back around right before Destiny started. And then that's when I found you. And at the beginning of Destiny, I was talking to somebody from your Discord and somebody in my guild at Bear, trying to pros and cons versus Bear and Reboot. And stayed after talking to them. I kind of stayed in Reboot, and then I had that first DMT, and I dropped to $200 and was able to get my first legendary, and it was like super exciting to me. Super like, I did this, I built this, and then I realized like I had to drop $200 just to cube this. I could be doing this on Reboot for free and feeling that same kind of accomplishment. And
yeah, free is a relative term there. Of course, you're gonna spend your time, right? But it all depends on how you can spend your time and how much of it you can spend it, and what your kind of like, what is the wall of what do you consider a lot of money and what do you consider a lot of time, and then whatever is the best match for you. So you, I guess you clearly saw that this is not really, what do you say, scalable, right? To keep doing this for every single item.
Exactly. So after that, it's kind of when I had my time to switch moment. So I started, I think this is actually a month, it'll be a month as of today that I started this account.
So tail end of Destiny.
Yeah.
So you did the whole Terra Burn thing, got it as far as you could with all the potions and whatever, what have you.
Yeah, because I used a lot of it on the other account, but then I just deleted the one Terra Burn, like you said, and then
yes,
was able to Terra Burn this one.
How did you, just a quick question, how did you do the Achilles thing? How did that happen?
Oh no, I was playing basketball. I've had bad ankles all my life and bad knees, and so I've started popping ibuprofen before every time I did an event. So I had a game in the morning, then I had 2 games at night, and I was just popping the pills. Oof. And like a month before that, on the same exact foot that I tore my Achilles, I got into this golf cart accident.
Jeez.
Long story short, drunk friends. But so I was playing basketball, jumped up, came down, heard a loud pop, and Achilles was torn.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, I had a teammate. I played korfball, which is like probably as close as you can get to basketball. And like I had a teammate who like, she just stepped her foot back and just like the loudest, like a bang almost. It's almost like a gunshot or something, and it just echoed through the hall, and everyone was just deathly quiet. It was like, oh god, and she just fell to the ground like destroyed, and everyone was like, this is really bad.
Yeah, like I said, I've rolled my ankles all the time, tore my
I'm an ankle roller myself.
But this was like there was no way I could put weight on it. It was completely different. I wasn't in pain. It was awkward enough. Like I didn't feel any pain, but I knew it was limp. I couldn't move my foot.
Oof. So that's wait, are you recovered from that? That's months of recovery, right?
Yeah. It took me probably to walk like 4 months, and so it's been about a year now. I tore it last July.
Okay.
In 2021. So it's been, I haven't tried playing like active basketball again. I've just like do like shoot around and stuff. But
yeah. Wouldn't be super careful.
An active game, right? Exactly.
Damn. Okay. Well, that gives you a lot of time to play video games. So here we are. The real game is online. Okay, so you've been. So did you start like on Reboot with some friends as well? Did you make some friends in the guild in the alliance, or some people that you can talk to?
No, honestly.
Okay, we'll have to work on that then.
I tried. Every now and then I was trying to do everything like last minute and do it using your Discord for the little looking for groups to struggle runs or whatever. But I'd always do it last minute, and it's kind of hard to keep people. So I haven't really. But I did meet somebody yesterday that helped me do a last minute Lomian run.
Okay.
So, and we friended each other, so we'll see where that goes. But not yet. I haven't had any real true friends yet.
No true bromances yet going on. Okay.
Right.
Well, there is the boss menu now, right? In the boss UI that should hopefully help a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more time throughout the week, and not like if it's very last minute, it's really hit or miss, right? If you don't find someone in like the last hour, then you get no run. I've been thinking of maybe doing a bit more like party boss runs like on Wednesdays when it's the last day, and kind of freeing up some time to run a bunch of bosses with a bunch of characters, just to see if we can get the struggle runs going, because that's when the people really who couldn't get any carries or any party runs, or you're not as invested either in necessarily really needing the run. You just want to make sure you get a run done, and if it's not successful, that's whatever, but you get more experience out of it, right? That's usually the most valuable thing that you can get. But yeah, there is it's a little bit hit or miss, but there is a decent amount of people in the Discord from time to time, just in like the voice chat, right? Just hanging out.
I noticed that.
Yeah, you can always just jump in there, see if you can make some friends, make some homies, because they usually have the people I see in there have like 2 or 3 characters, like in the Mule Guild and in the regular guild, so they have characters in like different stages of the game, so they might really be able to either give some advice or have like at least 1 or 2 people already that are able to join a boss fight. Maybe not right then, but maybe the next day,
Right.
And
plan something out.
Yeah, and the game isn't huge, and we're trying to build up the community with the guild and everything. But if you pick up one person in the Discord, and then like one maybe in the bossing UI, and then another in the chat, and then you already have a 4-man party, right? You can already do most of the bosses like that. So that's kind of the hopes that we build a little bit of a platform with the people who want to do the impromptu pick up groups kind of thing, and not like the hard carry. But yeah, if you find a static, then you can keep going from that. So which when you're playing the game, like what do you kind of use as a benchmark to see like I'm moving forward, this is what I want to reach now, this is how far I've come?
So my other account actually already reached I was 235 on my other account, so I reached that here.
So level is a big milestone for you?
Actually no, the bosses, I guess. I don't know why I brought up the level, but I enjoyed doing the bossing.
Okay.
So I've cleared up to, I did actually not the reset yesterday, but like yesterday I did I cleared my first helix on this account.
Okay.
I was able to do quote the boss again. I was able to get a hard Magnus down by just waiting out a few death. I didn't die that much, but I had to wait out a few death timers.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, that's the first clears are always like that. Just stretch out those timers.
Right.
What is around that level? Like Akechi, CPAP, those bosses?
Akechi, I didn't get a chance to do Akechi because I got carried in Akechi that week and CPAP, so I'm gonna try it this week, of course, and I'll watch your video for the CPAP because I kind of know the basic mechanics, but actually going in there with the Corsair, I haven't did it too much.
Oh yeah.
My other main was an Adele, so it was a bit different type of
It's a bit different. If you I mean if you did Helix, then I think I would say that there's as close to 100% certainty that with some practice you can do Akechi and CPAP as well. It's definitely, I would say, definitely a bar below in terms of difficulty and in terms of just overall stress related stuff.
Definitely,
yeah. So that should be okay. And then the next step is like Lotus and Damien. You've done those in party form.
Yeah, I did. Well, yesterday was kind of just a hard carry, but on my Adele, I was soloing. Well, not fully soloing because I failed every time. But I was getting close to soloing Lotus and Damien without. I've learned the mechanics, but actually perfecting those mechanics and able to execute it consistently is where I'm at. So this week I plan on pushing it hardcore and hopefully get it down before the end of the week.
Yeah, guild skills will help a lot, of course. Getting some buff freezers here and there, and see your stats are not too bad from everything I can see. Looks. Not just like the stat itself, but like the whole detailed stats screen, right, of the character stats.
Right.
I guess the IED could be a little higher, right? That takes care of a lot of damage reduction, right? The IED.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get high critical damage, of course, as a Corsair, so that's really nice. Decent boss damage and damage, so that's good. Okay. So that's yeah. So that's the goal, and then. But you did mention your stat being really low, quote unquote. What do you use as a kind of like to know that that's the case?
I was using your progression command, and so I'm 235. So let me pull it up to remember exactly what it said. I think your stat was said at the end of 240 was supposed to be around 20k, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I've got 24 sitting here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I feel like, but I think a lot of that has to do with me rushing levels a lot, like because I was trying to get everything in.
Yep.
So I need my equips. I'm still using all my free CRA stuff. Like I said, we'll talk about all the equips. So I think a lot of it's just my equips I haven't invested in yet because of me just grinding levels and going for other things. That
you haven't felt the need to upgrade those equips? Like you're still fine training and doing the bosses around your level? You can still do those with the lower stat?
Right. Exactly. I haven't really struggled too much. I feel like I have decent hands, and I don't know if I'm grinding at the most optimal maps for my level, but I mean, I was using... right before I hit 235, I was using the water spirits, or the earth spirits, I think was where I was training at. And then I just hit 235 and I haven't totemed in the past 2 or 3 days when I hit it, after I hit it.
I see. But now you have access to all of you got all the pre-quests done, access to all of the areas?
Yeah, somebody from the guild, or either somebody from the guild or our alliance, or somebody came and helped me with that, which was really a huge help, because I remember I tried to do the pre-quest for
12k stat in Asphera with monsters 15 levels.
Yeah, it took forever for me to do the other one at
yeah, I can imagine. It's a lot of kill quests there, so basically you have to kill like 200 of every single thing.
It took me like an hour to do Morass by myself, so him helping me with Asphera took me like 20 minutes. So
you have in the 600s of arcane power, and then 14 levels below those dark executors. At 12k stat, I can imagine you're hitting them quite a bit.
I don't even know if I was killing him. I think he killed all 200 every time after a while.
Even with the short cooldown on the 5th jobs, you're still,
It was a struggle.
Yep. Well, you made it. Now you can start really banking on that arcane power, right? That's going to start coming in like crazy. That's usually the time when people feel at 235, and especially if you rush those levels, to take that time to invest a bit more into Legion and into the links. And to make sure that foundation is a bit more solid, and take that time with all the money that you're making to really invest into like drop and meso gear. I don't know how far you are with that. We'll look into that. Right. To kind of like round all that out so that you can be ready to like start making that push towards 250, and especially if you need some upgrades, that you can start making that go. Once you get to like 240, 245, you'll make a decent amount of money. And then you've been doing the weeklies for a little bit longer, because now you haven't had that many weeks yet, so you can't really have that many backups yet. So you give yourself some time to get some backups and some time to get the money, so that you can wait for the opportune event, the Star Force events, to start pushing those a little bit further, and especially start looking for replacements for the temporary CRA pieces when you have to. You don't have to rush that, but if you can open something nice with a nice flame, for example, that'd be cool. And if you can then just send it up all the way to 17 without needing to worry about just during events, and you don't really have to worry yet about those other stuff expiring, that once it does expire, you can just immediately switch over, and like a seamless transition kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Do you have anything in mind that you eventually want to reach? Like, are you just like, I want to kill Kalos, or are you like, that's not really realistic for me?
For me, I mean, I feel like maybe down the pack, but realistically, the thing that looks enticing to me is my drive is seeing you guys the parties with the Will and Hard Lucid and stuff. Those parties, just having that camaraderie, just the group of guys, just going out there and bossing and kind of joking around while also learning and everything. So that kind of is where my goal is.
Okay.
At the moment.
And when it comes to like time playing, because you managed to grind out these levels, do you see yourself in a similar pace? Like, do you think you can do all the totems? Do you see yourself doing all the totems? Because that's also just because you can.
So for totem wise, this is the first month I don't think ever I've actually bought, or last month I should say. So the last month I actually bought out all totems. I haven't used them all. I think I got I got 2, 3, 4, 6 that I didn't use from last month, so I used the rest. So I mean, play-wise, I probably should be using it a little bit more often, even on days I can't get the full 2 hours in. But playtime, it just depends. Usually when my wife's home, I only play like 30 to 45 minutes on those days. So I spend time with her and the family.
Wife tax
gone,
on the.
Yep. So when she's not home though, because we work opposite shifts, she works a day shift, and I work night shift. So she, when she's not home, as long as my kids are maintained, I'll usually play for 3 to 4 hours. If I have nothing else really going on, and so I have a pretty decent amount of playtime per day, honestly, unless I'm spending time with the family, of course.
Just because you have the time doesn't mean that you want to fill all of that up with totems, though, right? Like, if you're feeling like it, you could do 2 totems in a day, but it's more likely that you only do like 1 every 2 or 3 days. So it sounds like
that's exactly what. Going on.
That's fine. I mean, that's a steady pace, you know. It's really only I think that pressure really only comes in once you're like going past like 260 or something, and you really want to get to 270. You want to get to 280, and then you kind of, you know, you don't have to, but you kind of have to do all the totems then, because otherwise you're looking at like a year of progress before you get to the next 5 levels, you know. And then it's like, do you really want to make that jump then, or do you just want to sit where you are and then maybe play another character where you can actually get levels out of your totems versus, you know, like 1 every 16 totems to get a level. That becomes a little... like right now for me, I think I'm like 32 totems per level, so it's like, I don't know about pushing past 280. That seems a little bit steep.
Right, yeah. I think I don't mind training other characters. I'm not one of those hardcore one-player characters, so I do have other characters in mind down the road. But actually, I enjoyed Corsair more than I thought I would. I actually planned on... My initial thing was thinking in the future, I was like, Ignition comes out, I could do a Night Lord. Is kind of what I always wanted to do. But I've really been enjoying Corsair a lot. But as far as other characters, like you said, I'll probably hit around 260-ish, and then probably look at maybe going another route. But that's a ways from now, so it's kind of just a long term.
Long term, yeah. Okay. All right, that's all pretty clear. All right, so let's get into. Did you have any kind of like questions written beforehand that you want to make sure that we get through?
Yeah. So a lot of it's equip stuff, of course, but
I like to circle back to that in the end.
Non-equip stuff would be familiar badges. I've been grinding levels, so I feel like maybe now's the time, because like I said, I've got all my dailies. I could just do my dailies, and instead of popping a totem or whatever, I could go farm those badges. I feel like, is this a good time to start looking into getting badges? Because right now I only have the snail one, of course.
Just the snail one, yeah. I mean, if you have 2 slots, that's already really nice. You want to get to 10, you know, for that next slot, and I would say min-maxing on the stats or something of the badges. That's really like, I don't know, that feels like a level 260 plus kind of thing to really worry about like which badges you have on. To get to 10 badges, I think it's a good idea to start doing that once you know for sure that you really want to push the character very far, and once you get to the point where you can actually farm for familiars while you're training. So if your goal right now is like, I know I want to push this character far, I want to do the whole, you know, familiar thing that's important. At 235, my goal now is to be strong enough to just be able to start training in Asphera, so I can immediately start making those familiars. The sooner you get to having 10 badges, the sooner you can make it so that you have your nameless cat, right, with the item drop rate equipped, and 2 familiars that you're trying to level at the same time, so you can just shit out those epic familiars and get as much chance of those large drop and the boss and the IED big chunk familiars. So that might not be a bad idea, yeah. So for familiars specifically, I have the you've maybe seen the familiar command already. On the bottom there, I've got like a little bit of a tier list, right, on which ones you can get. And you'll see that the most of the ones that are easy to get are just level related. So you can get the 2 on the right side here, right? That's the Morass and the Asphera ones. But if you count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you still need to get 2 of the slightly harder ones. So what most people tend to go for is the Sandy badge. That one's pretty doable. And then the Mariner badge. Mush King badge is also pretty doable, but yeah, just 2 of those 3 basically, whichever ones you think are most. That's probably what you'll end up with. All of the S tier, and then the 2 right side on the A tier, and then those 3 there, right there. Yeah.
Okay. And then my node stones. So I joined the Corsair group Discord, and they have the perfect tries for no stone is really awkward for Corsairs in the little fact that they made, because we have 7 skills they wanted to level. You have 2. You'll have your 2 bossing ones, which I happen to get right off the bat, so I got lucky with that. And then,
is it different from this? So I have here Siege Bomber, Broadside, Scurvy summons.
Rapid Fire, Brain, Majestic, Nautilus Strike. Nope, that's the exact one. Yeah. So.
And then Rapid Fire, Brain Scrambler, Majestic Presence.
Yep.
For bossing only, yeah, and then just everything else just thrown into like another mobbing one, I think, right?
Yeah. So I think the way the fact kind of talked about it was like, if you plan on playing it long term, you have your trio 2, it kind of as your bossing one, you take in and out, and then the other one, so for trio 1, they kind of wanted you to have that as a solid one, because you could always leave that one in, and it'd be good for bossing or mobbing. Yeah. And then the trio 3 is of course your mobbing ones, but as talking to other people, like I'll use Nautilus Strike every now and then. Ugly Bomb I almost never use, even while training as of right now. I've talked to a couple other people, they said some of the maps they'll use it, but for the most part it's use just 8 legs in your summons and just jumping around. But
I see.
But I mean, I kind of just compensated for now, uses what I've gotten. So I have 2 of the perfect tries for trio 1. I mean for trio 2. So those are good. I don't need the bossing ones. And then I've gotten 1 of the perfects for the summons, and then the other 3 perfect tries I haven't did it. So for right now, I've kind of just been using what I got, and they're not terrible ones, but they're not the perfect tries. So I don't feel like I guess I'm going about it the right way. But I mean, at what point I feel like it's like feeling like it's never gonna come type of thing, because it's been how many nodes? So I guess I probably haven't really, in the grand scheme of things, I haven't really unlocked that many nodes. But
exactly, like in the grand scheme of things, we're only 235, so you're like fully in that early build-up phase when it comes to nodes. Honestly, especially if you've been grinding the level super hard, then you haven't really gotten the chance to really get that many nodes yet. You have only had like 1 event shop, right? And then that's pretty much it. So it's pretty normal at this point. I mean, if you already have you have 2 trios for the number 1 and then 1 for trio 2. Am I understanding that correctly?
No, so the other way around. I have 2 for trio 2.
Okay.
So I've both set for my bossing, and then I have 1 of the trio 1.
Okay.
So that's 3 out of the 7. So it's not terrible, and the temporary ones are good enough for me. I figured I just
wait. Did you say 7? You'd end up with 6, no?
Oh, I meant yeah.
7 skills, yeah.
Yeah, my bad. 7 skills that you mainly use, but
yeah.
I don't know if I'm explaining that right.
Yeah, if you're going 7 skills mainly, so if you're like I don't really care about the Nautilus Strike, I don't care about the Ugly Bomb, you could go for like a 5 node setup, right? So that you end up with and then the last line is like either 1 Nautilus Strike or 1 Ugly Bomb that you just boost once, so you have like 1 between those, and then 2 of these, and then 2, so that you have 5 in total boost nodes. The benefit of that would be that you can be done faster. The downside of that is that you might have to make, or you will eventually have to make mixed nodes, and that will mean that you will always have to have 5 equipped, whereas if you do this setup, you'll always have only 4 equipped, so you have 1 extra space for a skill node.
Yeah, I guess I've been taking it the right route. I've been really careful not to combine or disassemble, or I guess I could be combining them since none of them work, but I haven't disassembled anything that could potentially be a perfect try. So I've done good on that part. But I mean, I guess it's just me wanting. I came from Bear and I was able to just buy my node stones.
Yeah, that's a different world. Yeah.
So I guess I was just being impatient, I guess is the. what it comes down to. I just need to wait a little bit.
It's really a work of patience. Yeah, and a lot of people also just wish they could get way more nodes just to be done with it. But it makes sense that it's hard to get those nodes because nodes are insanely powerful. And if you would get them too early, you would get very, very spoiled.
Yeah,
very quickly, and you would also lose the possibility for growth later on in the game very quickly, because it's a good thing that nodes aren't immediately maxable at like level 220 or something, because you would stop feeling progression way earlier. They need to keep what's the word, like linearly leveling to keep that feeling of progression going. So but I think that's the right setup to get these 6, and then the last one is definitely the least important. Like your 8 legs Easton, you're using that mainly if you're like jumping around with it in between like refreshing all your summons.
Yeah, usually what I do is I'll set up the summons in the areas I can't reach while just jumping left to right is what I usually do, or whatever little rotation I'm doing, and then I'll just use the East leg, and every now and then I'll just throw an out of strike just because everything I probably don't even have to.
Yeah,
but I just do it
just because you can.
Not bore myself. Yeah, exactly. and then I'll do. I missed the vac pet, so I don't have a vac pet. So part of me setting up my summons is me just going around looting real quick.
Yeah, it's also part of the loot rotation. Yeah, and your 8 legs Easton is still able to kill just fine wherever you're training.
Yeah, when I pop all the pots and I alternate my guild skills, I'm one-shotting. I was one-shotting at the Earth Spirit, so.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Right. Yeah. That's definitely on track. Well, if you're immediately gonna go into like Asphera and stuff to get to the spiders, you need that injection of more stat most likely.
Yeah. So I haven't tried it yet, so we'll have to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Then the demand for that third trio is going to be a little bit higher. But yeah, when you're mobbing, you'll be able to unequip the trio 2 boost nodes, right, and just swap them out when you get them.
Yeah, so I guess just waiting game, and
yeah,
I don't mind having a little bit less efficiency, like so I can't do spiders right away. It's okay, I can. The biggest thing I feel like sucks is me missing out on the effect pack, so I can't go to Shadow Dance Hall or anything like that. But
that map is not lootable without it's so bad.
Yeah, all those platforms. But
yeah, so, it's a bit weaker with still familiars. Yeah, that would be ideal.
So probably just look at something in Arcana and one of the back end map stuff.
Yeah, spread your summons out, have the whole map just be covered in bombardment, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you crafting right now? Are you crafting node stones or are you crafting boost nodes?
Strictly no stones. I haven't crafted a boost stone, not even once. So I mean, I have so many options to get to.
Exactly. Still, you've got the most outs of like pretty much any class in the game, so I would definitely keep crafting node stones. Yeah.
Okay. Just
double checking that. All right. Any more questions there? I don't have a picture of your V matrix, so I'm going to assume that because of your experience with the other.
I should.
With the other classes that you have a good idea for the priority of which skills you're going to be using. I don't know if you have any questions on that.
Let me pull mine up. I thought I put it in there, but no, I have. Awesome. So I have the decent holy symbol that I use, of course, is like in the first slot while training and stuff. I'll use decent sharp eyes. I use the loaded dice.
Yep.
And then when I'm training, I'll use decent speed diffusion. And then when I'm not, I usually trade out my decent speed diffusion for my bind to go boss.
Yep.
And then everything, all my other nodes are just my boost nodes and then my skill nodes and arachnid.
And arachnid, yeah. Okay. That doesn't seem like you were missing anything important there. I mean, you still have room for growth, right? Once you get more bursty and you're doing the harder bosses, you get the Goddess Blessing in there, you get the Overdrive in there. But that's not as important yet.
Would you prioritize Overdrive over the flag, the banner? I guess the banner is only for parties if I'm partying up, and just use Overdrive if I'm soloing?
It does also give the IED, right, for the boss that's standing in it. So for a stationary boss, it's quite nice.
Okay.
It's not the flag is not too bad. It's extra stat and extra IED. But the flag, much like Overdrive, really come into play once they're leveled up, because then their uptime increases and their skill relative power goes up, Whereas with the Goddess Blessing, even at like a pretty low level, especially if you're doing... So yeah, if you're doing party, then flag seems nice, but a low level flag is kind of eh. You'd rather have Goddess Blessing so that you can take optimal use of, you know, maybe like domain and that kind of stuff in a party that's going on, so you can increase your burst even further. So it'll probably just depend on which one ends up leveling a little bit stronger, but as you get closer to 250, you'll be able to slam all of them in anyway.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's not super important which one comes. I like Overdrive most if your weapon-based attack is high, right? So if you're at least using an Absolab, but preferably already going towards an arcane weapon and a high-level skill, because then the percentage conversion is better.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Nothing else for Matrix. You know how to level up your slots and everything, right? That's all done.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's
just double checking. Sometimes people forget.
No, you're good. No, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Got like 25 points, and I'm like, ooh. Like 50% final damage.
Missing out on so much points. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be huge.
Yeah, because it's all obvious when you've been playing it for a while, but like for a new person, just a small detail like that can make a huge difference, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like maybe that's why I was able to push so easily on this. After that, my year of experience on my other account kind of, I understood a lot of the things. Like thinking back, like I don't know how I was able to grind back in the day, not without just going in blindly. Like, oh, it was so rough. It felt like, and now it seems so smooth.
You ever log into a character and you look at the gear and you're like, how did I ever get it to this level? Does this make any sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I started the other one when Kane came out, and I got it because I think they gave you a reward if you got it to 200. So I got that one to 200, and I was like, it's got like a pencil, like half pencil gear, half like 110 gear. I'm like, how did I?
Yeah.
Mindlessly.
It's got like 8 equipped in total. Never really go back to that character and play it. Your standard of, you know, funding and how much you want on a character would be way higher now. That's how the game gets you, of course, but to put that pressure on yourself and on the stuff. But yeah, it comes down to whether you're optimizing what you've earned, right? Like if you earned hyperstats, well, you can just leave them be and make the game harder for yourself, or you can use them optimally and then make the game a lot easier. Same thing with the Legion grid and all that. So. Yeah, I mean, since I'm looking at your Legion, did you have any questions surrounding Legion or links at all, or do you feel like you're in control there?
No, I think I'm pretty good on that. I've been following your Legion progression. I kind of recently, so like you said, I hit that 235, and I've recently been pushing for like I think I'm around the 20, right after when you start doing the Wild Hunter, Mechanic Blaster area, and I kind of just skipped over those. Just to get I skipped over that to go get I started training up a Luminous right now, just yesterday, because I wanted the IED, so to help me with hopefully trying to get Lotus real quick and stuff.
Yeah, IED will help quite a bit. Yeah, the other one is more for the survivability, specifically for people who have less experience with bosses, might be dying more, and then as a result, you know, for Helix, for HMAG, you know, for those, for CPAP, the extra iframe on res is very, very useful, but if you have more experience, you don't die as much, then that's not as necessary,
Okay. But yeah, I think I understand those pretty well.
Yeah, you've got the one thing I would say with your with the member or with the grid setup is that do make sure that as long as you're killing, you're fine. But as long as as soon as you start getting into trouble with killing, don't forget about the normal monster damage grid down there. It's a bit, you know, it's placed a bit annoyingly, but don't forget about that one.
I think I just hit 3K like 2 days ago, and I kind of just went up there because it was already connected. But I guess using those same members, I could bring it down into normal damage too. So I'll look
if you need it,
if I'm able, when I go find my new map. So
yeah, 3K is huge, right? You get that extra hex plus the 5 extra characters in. It's like doubling your Legion bonus almost.
I was training I think I did the Arc and Young with it, and like you said, it's completely like the crit rate just kicks in immediately.
Yeah, you're a little bit starved for crit at this point. I see, right? You're using almost every single source that you possibly have. So hopefully once the although you did have low on the you didn't have any in the the hyperstats, right? So as you get further in the hyperstats, you really get into the point where level 5 or 6 is basically free, because you know the next level past 10 is going to be so expensive on anything else.
Yeah, I think I don't think I think I cap without anything, so I bet it probably could carried because I have the crit rate on my weapon from the free Fafnir. So I think that once that goes away, I'll probably have to add a few into the crit rate to make up for it.
Yeah, and what I'm also saying is that the relative value of crit rate in your Legion grid is going to start going up as you could get access to more boss damage, or to more normal monster damage, or to more critical damage. Then the grid spaces are going to get relatively more expensive, and it'll be way cheaper to get like level 5, 6, 7 in hyperstats. That'll be almost free at that point, but that'll give you, you know, 5, 7, 9% critical rate, which would be pretty big. And since I see the hyperstats, you know, we were talking a little bit about the distribution there. Don't forget about your bonus EXP either there on the training setup, right? Because once you have enough and you can kill the monsters, you do also have bonus EXP here down here that could give you a little bit more EXP while you're training. And like, again, as long as you can kill properly, and the same treatment for like the grid bonus in the Legion. All right, yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about it. I have points to use too. So
yeah, you've got 42, so that's probably a level 6 or 7, maybe even an 8. Like just that you can probably a 6. Yeah, no, 6 or 7 that you can immediately throw in there. And again, those bonus EXP, look, it's very low percentage, right? But all of the little bits helping together can make it can make you a happy camper.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but other than that, priorities seem good, and I mean, you're using my command, so what can I say? I mean, you're using all the best information. No, it's just
you put out all the information. You made it easy for me. Like I said,
hang on, let me pat myself on the back a little bit. Yeah, okay, there we go. I mean, I wouldn't give you any other advice than what you're already getting through my command, so that saves me a whole lot of time on double backing up through everything.
Yeah.
I see the professions screen here. Did you have any questions there?
Yeah, actually, it's probably a big one. So coming from Bear, so I almost know nothing about progression. In fact, when I was trying to look to get the picture, I didn't even know how to bring up the freaking skill. I had to Google it, I had to look it up on the key bindings.
You're like, how is the insight so high? What happened here?
So I listened to what you said and got the insight with all my little character. I mean, the little trait boosting. But then so I think it's more of the professions. I haven't even attempted. I'll pick up all this stuff when I see it, but as far as what I'm supposed to, I guess I could just, I understand just getting him to level 10 off the video that you have from the professions. It's pretty easy, but I guess I haven't even attempted to look into it at all. I feel like it hasn't been a requirement, but since I'm really close to getting my drop in Maso gear now, I feel like I need to start diving into it, because soon I'll have to be crafting those wops. And
yeah, exactly. I guess one of the small things that is more early on that you probably skip past a little bit is extraction. Because in reboot, in non-reboot, you don't really use it, right? Because it doesn't really do much. But in reboot, you can actually, the Philosopher's Stones that you get, NPC for 300k each. And that's usually about the value of like 8 or 9, sometimes like level 140 equips in a single Philosopher's Stone, but you can get up to 3 per item that you extract. So there's actually a really nice way early on of getting a little bit more value out of all the weapons and armors that drop while you're training.
Oh. Yeah, I've been just selling those.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. So if you get to level 6 on any of the professions, then it'll allow you to extract of any level. So I mean, your alchemy is already 4. Alchemy is ideal because it'll also give you 10 slots instead of 5 on the other one, so you can also extract way more items at the same time. And there's like an auto select button now, which is kind of scary, so be careful if you use that one. Or you can just right click the items to slam them all in. And that usually, so that gives you some of the intermediate, no, not the intermediate, but probably gives you some of the advanced and the superior crystals as well, which you might need later to craft stuff, so you can already start building up a little bit of a bank of those. And then Philosopher's Stones, eventually you'll need them if you want to make Meister rings and stuff. But and then also a little bit for the WOPs and the EOPs, but you don't really need that many, so you can NPC most of the ones you get now, and then just, you know, as soon as you start getting to closer to crafting stuff, you can just hold on to them a little bit longer.
Okay.
So that's the early thing. And then some people need it to craft shields. They'll go for level 10 smithing, but that's usually that's like Shadower. The warriors might need it if once they go for one-handed, but eventually, I guess the warriors don't need it as much anymore. I would probably advise against it to use the regular secondary that you buy, or maybe the Princess Snow one that you can get from the one you buy from the merchant or the one from Princess Snow, and use that together with a one-handed in the beginning. You lose out on a little bit of damage there, but then when you shift to two-handed eventually, because it is better later on in the game. Once you get to like Abzo and Arcane, then you already have your secondary done, and you don't have to redo your secondary, because so that saves you a whole lot of money in the long run.
Saves money yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's mostly mages, right? The Explorer mages and like Evan and Beast Tamer, like they will be crafting the shield, so they will use smithing. And then accessory crafting comes into play once you want to make Meister rings. So now we're talking like you at least, I would say you have like at least 3 or 4 primals at that point, right? From killing Arc, and unlike in non-reboot, they actually drop in reboot. I mean, not super common, but they're actually, they exist for us. So that's a cool thing. And the main thing is, if you want to scale up on that, like drop rate is of course one way, but another way is getting multiple characters to being able to do normal Arc. That's a really good way of scaling up on the amount of drops for primals. And the other way is by just harvesting all of the big flowers and the big veins that you see, to try to get your chance on primals of those as well. Yeah, other than that, normal Arc is also very important for the Dominator pendants, right? That can drop from that also actually exist in reboot. Not super common, but it's almost on the tier of like superior drops from Helix. But the sooner you get started and the more runs you do, the more likely that you actually get something that you can do something with. So that's nice. Yeah, other than that, it's mainly for the WAPs and the EOPs, that's important. And then for later, there is like the boss rush potions that you could create with high-level alchemy. And then high-level smithing is also wanted, but now you're talking about like Meister rank, and now you're talking about probably like Tenebris and above. So this is like past Hardwell, right? This is if you're going into Varishilla and those kind of bosses. And if you want to min-max all of your possible potion slots, because we're alchemists, you can use 2 big buffs, right? Usually one of the ones you use is a big boss damage buff, so either the one you craft, or now because of the loot table change, the red potions, the red sparkling potions that you can get from the bosses. So that's 20% boss damage, and then the second slot typically gets used with by advanced weapon tempering. So that's a skill that unlocks once you're a Meister in smithing, and then you'll have to craft with smithing like the ingredient, and that'll allow you to unlock this skill. I can actually show you because I'm on my Arc right now. And it's definitely not an excuse to reset my Threads of Fate here. Busted. Caught in 4K. The skill here. Nope, that's not where I have them here. So smithing. So once I'm Meister, you can see... And smithing always lags. Beautiful. So you have the ingredient down here, the whetstone. So that one costs Grand Spell Essences, Spear Iron Crystals, and Twisted Time. So by that time, you'll have so many that you're cool. But before that, Grand Spell Essences, together with Primals, are usually the bottleneck for the Meister rings. So you definitely want to hold them until that point, and don't craft them for anything, right? Same thing with the Juniper Berry Seed Oils. Make sure you don't craft them for anything else except for the WAPs and EOPs. Save them exclusively for that. And then with that Whetstone, you'll be able to activate this skill here. So it's called Advanced Weapon Tempering, so that'll give you 5% critical damage for 40 minutes, and that consumes 2 Whetstones. There's also the regular Weapon Tempering when you're Master Craftsman, and then that'll consume 1 Magic Whetstone, and I think it lasts 20 minutes, and then only give you 2% critical damage, so it's significantly weaker. But this buff counts as like a large potion. So you can use either this one and an IED potion, or you can use an IED and a boss, or you can use a boss and this one, any combination of those 3.
You said that was like when you started doing the Hilla and stuff, like after,
yeah.
like
So
usually around that moment.
Yeah, if someone is like really limit testing and wants to solo everything, they'll start using those things early, right, to make sure that they are squeezing out every single ounce of damage they can get from every slot that's available. But typically, if you're a full party, you can pick up each other's slack, and you have a lot of team synergy going on, and it's kind of on the same level of as using the what is it called, like Fatal Strikes, right? This like special node to get a little bit more damage on bosses and stuff. Typically at this point, with the amount of power creep we have, it's not really that necessary anymore. It's really because you're just trying to like inflate your BA or something. But the further you go, the more everyone needs to min-max within their character to make sure that they can do the harder bosses.
Okay.
Other than that, for professions, and I can't really think of anything. No, we know about the traits. Yeah, no, I think.
Yeah. I kind of use your. I've been using your progression YouTubes as white noise before I fall asleep. So I mean, usually I always pick up one or two things sitting in the background, and I'm like, okay, let me write that down. So I've learned a lot from you, honestly, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, you're very welcome. You're welcome for the going to sleep music, I guess. thanks for the views. I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else for professions or traits that you had a question about, maybe?
No, I kind of just hold on to everything, but I mean, I think I've one of your videos you got into it, you kind of went through it with somebody else. So I remember, I'm pretty sure I saved it to my watch later list, so I could just go through that later and figure out what I could just dump. So
yeah, and you actually have access to bigger bags now, so you can afford to hold on to more stuff. Literally typically I should say, the earlier drops that you can kind of throw away, those can be useful to just get those professions up very quickly and very cheaply on another character. Like if you have another character and you don't really have any alchemy resources, you can just level the smithing really quickly, so you can start extracting there as well, right? So you can get your philosopher stones there. And then maybe if you run out of like very cheap smithing materials, then you can use the accessory crafting ones on another and make some rings there, you know. Then you always have your materials going on. But yeah, after a while, you'll just have mountains and mountains of them, and you really don't need to hold on to everything. You can if you want to, but that's just me because I'm a hoarder and I have a problem. But for most people, you can get rid of most stuff. And yeah, those bags, I mean, they're still 50 mil each, so you don't want to throw like 5 bags on every single character. That gets quite expensive.
No, yeah, I think I remember you talked about it a while back, so I waited till that patch dropped, and then I bought just 1 bag each. So.
Oh yeah, that already gets you quite a long way.
Yeah.
Because that's what alchemy was used before as well, is like crafting those bags. Oh, and I guess that's one extra thing that you can do if you want to is you can craft a coin purse as well. But then I believe you have to be Meister Alchemy for that. So that would be part of that would be like the only reason to do that. Or if you want to mass craft those boss rush potions. So it's kind of similar to going to Meister for accessory crafting. You would only really do it if you're planning on making a bunch of stuff, you know.
Okay.
For Meister smithing, you would do it and then maintain it, so that you can. But basically, you maintain it by making the ingredients, so that you can keep using the skill, and then the ingredients themselves gives you enough experience to keep up your level 12, so you can keep activating the skill. So. Because if you ever drop back down, then the skill doesn't work anymore. So you have to upkeep it. Yeah, I see. I'm regularly making them, and I'm like 660,000 into Meister. So that if that starts decaying, that's going to be a while until it ever drops again.
Okay.
Okay. Are we already up to the equips then? Oh, you have a bunch of backups. Let me scroll through that beautiful inventory. Get that. It's a lot of stuff. Oh, wow, you have enough recipes, I see. Holding on to.
Yeah.
I thought I was the hoarder. Never mind. Okay.
I don't know. I used to just dump them all, and I was like, well, let me just. Since I bought the bag, I was like, well, now I can just keep everything. Why not have a 40 slot bag? And
yeah,
I
there's
haven't dived into it yet. I figured out there'll be ones I use, and then I'll understand. But since I haven't even taken 5 minutes to even truly look into it, then I've kind of just hoarded everything.
Yeah, you can extract with alchemy if you have high level. I believe you have to be craftsman or Meister. Then you can also extract the recipes to get the crystals, right? Like in the purple extractor things in non-reboot. And there's like a very low chance of getting the high level spell essences, but yeah, I extracted a bunch, and it's not even like worth your time to do. You might as well just go train and go kill monsters, and you almost get more essences that way. So. A little bit of a it's a little bit of a shitty system. So for most recipes, you can get rid of them. Sometimes there's recipes for like throwing stars that might be cool to hold on to, like flaming throwing star, infinity throwing stars. Those are nice. If I get recipes for shields, right, from like normal Cygnus, I usually hold on to those until you eventually play a character with shield secondary, and then you can make a shield immediately for those guys. Most of the other stuff might be for later or for endgame. There might be some stat potions for your class that might be nice, like so some dex potions, the level 9 or the level 10 ones. But you'll have to see which materials you need specifically to make those and see which one is worth. Like for me, my 10 stat, or my level 10, the one that gives 30 stat, costs juniper berry seed oils, so I'm not using that one. I'm using the 9 one. Yeah. With it's 3 strength less, but of course it's way more valuable. But you can also buy that one from the vendor. So there's the one that makes like the 15-minute, and then the one that like upgrades it to 30-minute. And then I believe the 15-minute one is temporary and only lasts 24 hours, but that one you can buy from the merchant. And then the 30-minute one, you just have to get one of them one time, and then you can craft them forever, basically. So, yeah, that's like for later on, but yeah, because those don't count as a big potion, so those can stack with the other ones that we mentioned.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, most recipes are pretty disposable.
Yeah, so I figured, but like I said, I bought the bag, and I was like, I still have quite a bit of space in that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not at the point yet where we have like thousands and thousands of familiars and millions of backups for everything, so you can afford to hold on to them a little bit, Are those new bags available in non-reboot too? I don't think so. I think it's only in reboot that those merchants do things. Oh, you have a primal already. Nice.
Yeah.
1 down, 3 to go. Something like that.
I have no idea where I got it from, but it's in there.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, if you haven't gotten it from Arc, then it might be from harvesting. You know, it might just pop up and you just don't see it when you're looting. You got some juniper berry seed oil, so you're holding on to that, and juniper berry seeds themselves. Oh, there might be somewhere else. Here you have 20 here. Yeah. Oh yeah, so spell traces, I don't know if you're familiar, you can just NPC those. If you want to hoard them, that's your right to do, of course, but that's just straight up money, and it's never used for anything else in the game, so...
I probably just haven't sold it yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're already working on your second stack, so that is actually quite a bit of money. It's 5k each, so one stack is 45 mil.
Oh, wow.
So this is 1 1/3 stack, so that's about 60 mil right there. Not too bad, right? You got 49 droplets. Are those mostly from the event shop?
Yeah, event shop.
Oh yeah, and 12 again. Yeah.
And then anything that I found from when I was training at
in Arcana.
It's all from yeah.
Okay. Any items here that you're holding on to and you're like, I legitimately want to know if I need them for anything, or you just gonna start getting to that question once the inventory space starts running out, because you're with etc. You're getting kind of close.
Yeah. I think so. Some of these I was trying to do. Well, not trying. I was in the progress of doing the Threads of Fate. So it's like those random Oni masks and stuff. I think it's just because I haven't finished the quest. I didn't want to do it just in case they require me to go pick them up again or something.
Sure. Oh, you're building up Threads of Fate already for the WAPs and EUPs.
Yeah,
because
I haven't even completed the whole thing, but I did it on my. I know what it is. I know I had to do it. I didn't go through the thing. But since, like I said, since I'm close to my drop rate, I need to start doing it so I can build up those WAPs and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, once I take the time to, once I actually get into professions and learning what I'm pretty sure I learn pretty quick. And so I'll understand what I actually need to keep. So no, I don't think we have to get into anything specific as I'm looking through it.
Okay. Sure. And then you have a lot of backups here. So this goes into like I'm blanking. Transfer hammer, right?
Yeah, transfer hammer.
And the goals and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a couple. I went through it the other day before I made this because I realized I was keeping stuff that I didn't need to keep that wasn't going to have any value when using the transfer hammer. But I think there's a few. Of course, there's a few things that I don't think I need anymore. But as far I think, let me look through it. So so all the cracked Gulick stuff I don't really need because those can't even get to 7 or 16 star, right? So I could just get rid of those because those aren't used as fodder.
Yeah, I would say if you find epic, that's cool, right? Because then you can transfer the epic quality. But other than that, they don't have value, no.
And then.
Because so in general, if you're gonna transfer hammer over, you always want to make as few jumps as possible. So it's fine early on to keep like leveled 120 stuff, but then once you have like 5 to 10 level 130 stuff, that means you don't need to make that jump from the level 120 stuff to the 130 stuff anymore. You can go straight up on the 130 stuff, so all the 120 stuff can go then. Same thing, once you have like 5 to 10 level 140 things, now you can actually just get rid of the 130s. If you get an epic, you can do like a one-time star transfer hammer over, so you have a 140 epic to start with. But basically, as you're gathering more of the higher rank and making it so that you need one fewer jumps, you always want to make sure that you own up to that, basically.
Okay. So yeah, I think I understand the process. I haven't fully gone through it to fully optimize, so I think I have. But I mean, I'm looking to it right now. As I say, it's like I have way too many 150 capes. So there's no reason for me to have that many, since it's just a quick 16 tap and then go transfer it up to the app. So
yeah, you can well, you can keep like 5 to 10 or something. I think is totally fine, but like 5 is probably already too many, right? If you have 3, that's probably already good. But you have a bunch of Von Leon stuff as well, right? So that's mostly the stuff that's there for like the extra taps and the extra jumps. So that's all pretty much obsolete at this point. Once you have access to 140 and 150, you're good. I'm pretty sure I understand it, but the most efficient thing would be to try to get the Von Leon stuff to 16, and then do the whole transfer tap all the way up to the whatever my goal was. Yeah, unless while you get to that point, right? In working your way up to that point, if by that time you have like 6 enraged Zakum capes, then I would just forego those extra jumps and just start off with a Zakum cape immediately, so you only have to do 1 jump. Okay,
so it's actually I thought it was just cheaper, just do the 130s, but
we kind of looked
that's
at
like
it.
Really maxing. It's not really worth it.
Yeah, we were kind of looking at it with like a 120 or a 130 to start lower, and that is actually a little bit cheaper. So if you want to do like all of the jumps from the lower end, you can. But don't get into trouble with your inventory space too much, right? And also, since we talked about the Philosopher's Stones, the more you chunk up your inventory, the fewer amount of equips you can hold on to, and then you're actually kind of cutting into the money that you can get from the Philosopher's Stones as well. More so than now by just NPCing it. Okay. So there's a little bit of a cost.
So it kind of just depends of whatever ends up being the higher fodder count. You might as well just go ahead and go up, because simply
yeah, it's a marginal. It's usually a difference of like, maybe in like the double millions.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's But yeah, you've got some epic stuff. But you know what you're looking for, right? You know which pieces you're specifically looking for, and you know the access to the shoes and the gloves as well from the shop.
Yeah, there's a CRA shop. I haven't even I've heard you talk about it always, and I've never even gone to look. I'll go look at it right now. But yeah, that's for my shoulder. No, not the shoulder.
I think they added a shoulder, yeah, but it's a lower level one, I think, because they added a shoulder and a cape, I believe, in the last update.
Okay, yeah. So there's a shoulder and a boot. I don't see the cape.
The cape might be in the same shop with the gloves, which is over in the black market in Grandis.
Oh, okay, Grandis.
Might be here. Mayala's shop. Oh yeah, they added the cape here, yeah, to flank the Tyrant Warrior cape for some reason. Yeah, this one's way lower level, but this one is mostly, if you get like a level 80 epic cape, there's no way to get that up to, Tyrant. There's just, you're missing jumps. You have to go do like special legacy items. So these ones kind of like fill the gap so you can transfer all the way up step by step. But it's mostly the gloves on top, the antique root gloves. Those are nice. And I specifically like these because they don't take up inventory space while you still have them as backups, at your disposal at a moment's notice.
Just waiting for the event to come around.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I think the gloves is what I would miss. Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna use those. I save up the coins. Those coins are from hard magnets or
normal as well. So normal drops those
okay.
shadow coins, the shadow dealer coins, and then the more yeah, you can see on the top right. So the shadow dealer coins are from maybe even from easy, but drops from all of them, and then the Magnus coins are only from hard Magnus.
Okay, I just got here on my character. Okay, so yeah, I have 253. So.
They do one hard Magnus, and you can buy 3 of the decrued gloves. So that goes pretty fast.
Okay, yeah. That's and let me write. You said it earlier, so I should aim for between 5 and 10 fodders for worst case scenario type of
Yeah. Up. I mean, in most cases, that's already going to be enough to like tap a 21, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but you just want to make sure that on the event itself, you don't have to like start. Well, for these, like for the shoe and the glove, on the event itself, you can just buy as many as you need. You can just sit next to the NPC and do it. But for the other ones, it would suck if you're like actually only have like 2 and you get unlucky and then you run out and then you have to go do the bosses during the event. Get like rushed.
Okay, yes. So yeah, cause I think I only participated in one of the most recent shining, and I'd say pretty lucky. So I didn't have to experience too much blowing up there. Okay. But
thank God.
I was kind of I didn't know what bad luck really is, so I was kind of just saving as much as I could. But now that I have a good number to shoot for, I understand how much fodders I need.
Okay.
Other than that, I think I should be good. I understand transposing, and I've listened to all the different types of 16 star and what flame I'm aiming for, and not to min-max too hard on the flame score to shoot for that. So I think I have a good understanding of all that too.
Okay. So if you say you have a good understanding, let's test it. So what would be the next thing that you are looking to upgrade, and how far do you feel like you're going to be pushing there?
I think right now I need to upgrade I think I need to go for the weapon. I feel like my weapon needs to be. I feel like I need to just go ahead and get rid of this Fafnir.
You didn't have access to any more Abzo. You took all those on non-reboot.
I haven't. What do you wait? Say that one more time.
Because there were two Abzo weapon boxes, right?
Oh yeah, right. Yep. I took those on reboot. I took it on Bear, so I didn't have apps. Okay. So, I just got the free ones that they gave us at 150.
So you have until November 5th. Yeah, that's still almost 2 months.
So, in my secondary, I just kind of settled for that because it was what it was, and I wanted to push for my drop gear, so I kind of settled for that, even though it's pretty lame. It's only got the one attack line and the damage, which is so I kind of just accepted it. But
I mean, as far as unique goes, and you're going to be replacing it with the Princess Snow, that's totally fine, I think.
Right. So
I'm gonna push it further.
Okay, then that's one of the things I was gonna ask. Like I said, I just leave that at that. Just push the Princess Snow when I get to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I would probably push for drop and Mesogear first, and then like circle back to the Princess Snow with like your backup cubes, because then you'll have like Monster Craftsmans and Meisters. Yeah, either use it on the weapon that you're going for at that point, or work on a secondary on the side. Yeah.
Okay. Then I would. Once I hit. If I do go for a Fafnir weapon, should I even push for? I guess I have a bunch of flames from the event shop that I need to use. Actually, some of them expired today that I need to use. So I feel like I don't know what else I should kind of use those flames on as of right now, because of some of this gear is temporarily, and I don't want to really waste it, and I don't really have access to my Abso lab gear. I guess I recently I could buy either a glove or a shoulder or something, because I just got the 2 coins yesterday. So I could buy one of those, but I just wasn't sure I should use the flames, if I should just go ahead and open up some Fafnir gear and use it on that, or if I should try to use it on the Abso.
Well, you get the most value out of a flame on the higher level the item is, and when it has flame advantage, right? Because then even the same flame tier outcome will represent itself in larger numbers on a higher tier, on a higher level item. So if you don't have anything yet, on an item slot, like something like an Abzo would be the preferred. Well, Arcane would be like number one, right? And then Abzo and like Pitch Boss would be like the group after that. So if you can afford, and you know for Transfer Hammer that your flame does not get overwritten when you Transfer Hammer into it. So for the glove or for shoulder wouldn't be flammable. So that's out of the question there. So like glove would be the highest value for your flame. And then the second highest would be if you have 150 pieces, which, for example, like the Tyrant Cape. If that's something that you want to flame higher, you could use that. And then at the same level at 150 would be the CRA pieces. If you can open them up, see if you get absolutely nothing with a nice flame, you could flame that. That would be like right after that. So yeah, if you get lucky immediately on the glove, then you can trickle your way down the ladder to whatever is the next high value.
So even though you brought up the Tyrant Cape, even though that's I feel like that maybe it's, I don't know, I guess I just kind of had a pre-notion that that's kind of really temporary, but I mean, I guess I won't have a decent Abso set for what, 2 more weeks. I guess I'd get another thing.
Yeah, I mean, weapon is highest priority to flame, but if you can afford it, then I would probably also not recommend going into like a high effort Fafnir weapon. You'll probably only get to something that's about as good as what you have now, which is fine to make because you can transfer hammer that all over into the Absolab anyway, but don't focus too much on the potential like past epic and the flame on it itself. I wouldn't worry about that at all. If you have flames, I would, hold them for Absolab weapon, because you're already doing those bosses that you need to get the drops from to be able to make them, right? So you'd be making like the step before weapon to speed it up slightly, but it won't be an efficient upgrade to do that.
Okay. So yeah, I think alright, so I understand what I should flame.
Eyes on Abzo, yeah.
So I guess from there, I've been working real hard on my drop-in Meso gear. I've gotten most of the pieces. I think I need 3 more or 4 more. All Meso obtain. 2 Meso, but I also need to get
2 drop. 2 Meso, 4 drop. Yeah, so 3 more Meso, yeah.
And I've been hoping for a Kana ring to replace that platinum cross ring. I know it does not really do anything for me now, but maybe I'll get it today later on when I do Princess now. So that's kind of just a placeholder. I've been upgrading everything else and
hopefully
hopes I get a Kana ring. If not, I'll probably just settle as for the treasure hunter John ring. I'll go do that quest real quick to probably just do that. And
are you planning to re-roll the eye and the mechanator or no?
The eye and the mechanator, yes. I ran out of money. Well, I had that 140, so I just ran out of money. I wasn't able to get them yet. So those I'll buy some reds to do those, to get those, and then I understand the process of, let's say I already have my 4 item drop rates, but if one of those got an item drop right plus a dex line or a stat line, I understand to go switch over to the other one because that one doesn't have a stun. So I understand that part.
Yeah, optimize your dex within the blob of accessories.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, but most of them didn't roll dex.
No, exactly. I've been really I didn't have to spend too much to get to the line, but it wasn't helping me.
There's only 6% all stat on the greed pennant, and that's it. Oof, yeah. Well, let's hope those last 3. Yeah, exactly. So those last 3 make up some ground, some Meso 2 decks kind of rolls.
Yeah,
that would be useful.
But so I'll push those, and I understand too.
Yeah, just 1 more ring.
Maybe push the heart off an event, and then I think I'll probably just wait. I think after that, I'm probably essentially just waiting for events for min-max, make sure I'm not wasting missiles.
For Star Forcing.
Coming up for a while, right? Exactly.
Yeah, if you are there by the time, you could use the 1+1 to get like CRA up to 15. That wouldn't be too bad, because that would be like one of the next steps. But if you don't have that full money, just make sure that you have some CRA ready by the time this stuff expires. But yeah, it is 2 more months, so that is most likely going to be 30% off or 5, 10, 15 by that time. Because we're going to have the next batch of Sunny Sundays, so should be no problem.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. You answered it. Just 1+1 isn't it's not maybe the best option, but pushing the CRAs to 15 would be not a bad decision.
Would not be a bad decision, no, because it is you're right up the like. Let's say that you have the 1+1 and you skip it, and then let's say 2 weeks after that there's a 5, 10, 15. Then you wish you would have done it, right?
Right. Okay.
If it's like in the next batch of Sunny Sundays.
Okay. Let's see what else got it written down. Let's say this is what I have. So let's say let's say my base ends up getting a 20. Like right now, I got a 18% line. But at what point should I feel like, well, this line has been like I got it like I got a 21% line.
Make another one.
Let me make another one. What stat should I look at for like?
I would say 24 or higher is probably make another one. Yeah. 21 is still decently rollable, but 24 you're looking at like a 9 and 9 and 9 all, like a 27, or you're looking at like what is it, like a 12 and 6 and 6, like a 12-6 all 6 all 12. Something like that.
There you go. Alrighty.
Yeah, because that gets exponentially more rare. So at that point, and then you just make you could probably get a monocle or a black bead mark by that time, and then if that one rolls even better decks, you just switch over, and then if it rolls drop or mezzo what you're looking for, then you use that.
Okay, so just depends.
Yeah, and then once you're pushing for 17 stars, you just push whatever's drop or mezzo to 17, then re-roll it for damage, and then re-roll the Aquatic Ladder Eye accessory for drop or mezzo again, just to swap functions. But at that point, you'll have the money to do that.
So once you hit, put that, I guess not. Jeez, let me words. Once you hit 17 star for your mezzo drop gear, it's kind of usually where most people stop unless they're trying to go to, I think it's the 260 area where mobs get really strong. Yeah,
even then I don't think people. Yeah, it'll have to be specific. Like you might be able to like repurpose some old gear that maybe lost its function but was already a legendary and maybe was Star Force a little bit beyond. Maybe you have like a 19-star monocle or something, or a tattoo lying around, and maybe you got lucky with like a Twilight mark instead of the tattoo, or maybe you got lucky with like a pitch boss or something. And then at that point you can just repurpose those old drops that have no more value by virtue of being damaged, and then rolling them into drop or mezzo might actually help. So like from the olden times when people used to transpose the earrings, for example, before they transposed the pendants because of the different Gollux drop table. Like those are really good to just redo for drop or for mezzo, so you can have a really potent drop mezzo piece for those higher level areas. But what most people will do is just they'll end up in full damage gear to be able to train there and really dedicate on making the EXP, or staying in Limina longer in the regular drop and mezzo gear and just make way more money and familiars and droplets and all of that stuff.
Okay. Look through it. What rings should I be looking for? Is it usually the superior, reinforced, Kana, and then angel or slime ring?
Yeah, that's like for most people. That's the go-to for most people. I would at this point, I don't know about going for the reinforced too early. Reinforced is pretty min-maxy in that it's only a little bit stronger than like a Kana treasure and then a Meister. So I think it's totally fine to have like the next jump is probably to have the superior and a Kana treasure, and then just 2 of your rings that give some kind of stats until you probably make a nice Meister. That's probably going to be the next, and then probably eventually the slime. So people probably end up with superior, slime, Meister, Kana treasure for a while, and then from there on out it kind of depends on if you get a lot of backups and stuff. So if you can send a Kana treasure all the way up to 21 and you have more backups, then you can do another one, transfer into superior. The main thing comes with not buying the reinforced too early is because you have the the limited resource of Gollux coins, right? And if you immediately buy the reinforced, you are setting back as well the 20 to 21 tap on all your superiors. So it depends on how quickly you're approaching that point. If you find yourself approaching that not very quickly, you can do the reinforced. But again, the reinforced can pretty easily be replaced with the Meister, and it'll only be like a few stat and like 1 or 2 weapon attack difference, so it's not that big of a deal. And if you get some event rings, are also often used because event rings are often still stronger than 17-star rings, so it saves you a whole lot of money to just roll some stat on an event ring instead. So you could say like, oh, I have the Treasure Hunter John ring that's also legendary, I'll just drop on that and re-roll the Eternal Flame ring for stat or something, and maybe just like a clean 21 that's pretty cheap. That could also get you a decent amount of damage if, let's say, you don't get that many kind of treasures, or you don't get you know, more primals, and it's a little bit risky. And it's a whole lot of money for something that's cheaper to just re-roll a ring, for example. That could be an option as well.
And then the Meister rings, those are only made in the... you craft those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do have at the end of the year, November, probably December, we have the Night Troop coming with the No Boom Room. So that would be a good idea to, if you, at least by then you can make like a few Meister rings, at least like 2 or 3, to probably craft them and just send them up to 15, because you can never have like too many 15-star level 140 rings, right? Because you have them to use by themselves, you have them to transfer into Superior, you have them to transfer into Superior and then into Slime, so there's plenty of uses for them. You might need a bunch of them.
Right, okay, that makes sense. I didn't even...
No. And
I didn't
them
know they were
and
140 and I didn't understand.
yeah,
them
sense, and Dominators, right? Also 140 pendant, and is in the same boat. You want to probably use one as itself for a while, and then probably as drop or mezzo for longer. You want to transpose one into the Sweetwater pendant. You want to transfer Hammer 21 or higher into Superior pendant later, and then also transfer into Superior, transfer into Source of Suffering if you ever get to that point. So Dominators also, you can never have too many. If you get very far into the game and you're really dedicated to a few characters and you have like more primals, sometimes people even just like craft primals. Use primals to craft Dominators, even though it's 5 primals each, but you know, once you're done with the rings, there's a lot of pressure off of that, and you can even get backups for those. So also them, like during a Night Troop, I will also just send them all to 15 just to have them there already. Make sure you don't have to do the whole safeguarding thing. Although safeguarding is finally, I don't know if you've Star Force recently, but safeguarding finally works the way it should have worked since the first day it came out, right? You just tap safeguard and it just stays tapped the whole way through. It just disables, like it just doesn't activate if it can't, but if it can, it just automatically. It's like, why was it not like this since the first day it came out? The whole little randomly
they did it
unticking.
after the Shining too.
Yeah, after Shining, of course.
So they made everybody go through the
waste so much time to tick the box. Oh, it's unticked. Yes, I know. Yeah. And then you go from like 18 down to 16 or something, and then 16 autocomplete to 17, or then it just like or 17 down to 15, then auto to 16, but then it turns off from 16 to 17 because you just had a success, and it's like, oh.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that then it was just so mind blown, and then blew it up, and I'm like, no!
Accidental. The amount of accidental booms probably rivals the amount of just like fuck it booms. Yeah, not a good system, but now it's finally working normally.
My emblem, I should hold that basically essentially until I get my superiors, because it's a solid IED line and I got a attack line with it. So
yeah, your IED is already like at a point where you probably want a little bit more, and you don't have that much functional IED, I think, as a Corsair, right?
No, not much at all.
So yeah, the main thing is going to be to get the you have the ID familiars though. Did you have the ID familiars on when you took the screenshot?
Yeah, I did. So
yeah.
I got to, but I think it's just I'm missing links, so I don't think I have any ID links yet. So once I have a few of those will kick in and get it up to hopefully 90%. In fact, I think I got a few.
It's like full Legion on one end, right? Because that's a 40% block in the grid, plus all of the little buffs and the link skills that come with it. That's usually a point where you can start rolling out of IED on an emblem, but the other one is Gollux, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. My notes. So everything else, outside of the event. I know you said the 1+1. I should do the Fafnir to 15, but as I start to get my Abso gear, I'll probably just get that to 12 and wait. And anything else that I happen to get, like
The what did you say? The Abso?
Yeah, Abso gear that I start to pick up as the weeks go on. And then also I ended up getting Superior belt on somebody carried me. And, do I start that or should I wait so I could use some fodders to get it to?
Yeah, yeah, because you've got the ping beam belts already. You could use the you could use a 1+1 event to just get those already up to 16 as well, right? Like the stuff that's going to transfer into Abso, and the stuff that's going to transfer into Superior to just get it ready, and then kind of wait for the next announcement and see if there's a 5.10.15 coming. If there is, then you know it's just a matter of 16 tap 16, and then just safeguard the last one, and then you're home free.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, same with the Abso, but you wouldn't have to wait. Yeah, just tapping it up to 12 is really good value during the event, so you might as well do that. But then also work on the fodder at the same time. But remember, if you're working on the fodder and on the main thing, just don't go too hard on the base potential, right? Because that's going to get overwritten.
Right. Wait. So anything? Don't go past epic, right?
Yeah, for the Abso and for the Superior, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Is he running away? Yeah, is he a little bit further from the microphone?
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My wife says I mumble, so that's what ends up happening.
I see.
Can't think of anything else, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what order to look at flames in once you get them, but you got a lot of Abso coming, so there's plenty of stuff to be flaming.
I don't even know if like I said, I have all those flames in my inventory, but I think even the latest one expires. Let me pull it up. The 12th actually. So I could get the 2 more this week, so I'll be able to get a few equips that I could be able to flame. So yeah, run me through the order because I don't know how much Abso I'll get, but I'm sure I'll get. You said earlier the higher level, so any Absos I do get, I should shoot for a decent flame, and I probably won't try to min-max it, but if I get something decent, then I'll just keep that, and then roll into the 150s from there, the Tyrant Cape you said, and then my Fafnir. I'll probably just open up a few Fafnirs and see if I can't get lucky from there. And then,
well, when you say Fafnir, you mean the.
My bad. The hat.
CRA, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's technically the weapon prefix, so yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, my bad. I'll probably just keep that, like you said. I'll probably just keep that weapon, and I'll have I should get the Abso weapon here in 2-3 weeks, so I'll probably just hold on to that till then.
Yeah, you can. I mean, if you keep doing CRA, you can also use the 150 as fodder, right?
As in.
Yeah, it's just fodder to Star Force to transfer into the into the Abso.
Watch it. Yep. But I shouldn't wait for an event for that. Or?
Yeah, for sure. But like if there's the 1+1 and you have like 1 or 2 CRAs you can make, you can also try to see if you can tap one of those up to 15 without safeguarding. Then you're already at a really good position for 5-10-15 when the transition into Abso comes. Yeah.
Okay. Got you. That makes sense. Yeah, so I'll flame those. Probably do it today. I don't really have too much I can. I think I'll probably just use it on the Absos that I get. Tyrant Cape and then a hat, top and bottom.
Yep. Yeah, the thing with the cape is if you get a really nice flame on a Tyrant Cape and you do like, you put like 1 star in it or something and you get epic potential with some decent pot, sometimes that's also already like a decent replacement for an Abso Cape, and you can kind of forego that as well. It's more of a, if you really need the damage, you can go for the Abso Cape, but otherwise you can also just use Tyrant as a placeholder and go straight up to Arcane with that.
that makes sense.
That's strong enough. You know, those base stats are pretty good.
How much star should I go on a turn? Because it's really expensive. It's like 25 million.
Yeah, I'll only do like 1 or 2, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at my notes one time. We talked about that. My stat being so low, is it just because I don't have any? I don't. Is it just because I don't have any stat lines essentially? Because I've gotten unlucky so far from like, the few legendaries I have. And...
At this point, if you're like approaching the 240, what you usually get is that a lot of people have a bunch more unique stuff, and hopefully a little bit more stat on their drop rate set that you have. You've gotten ridiculously unlucky there. And if you just add all of those little things up together, that's an easy like 40 to 50% dex more. And the second thing is that the flames now don't give you almost any stat, like your pink holy cup is really nice, but if you look at the total amount of stat between like your CRA, which is a huge income of stat, that's like 28. Ideally that's like at this stage, especially once you move into like real CRA stuff, ideally that's like somewhere between 150 and maybe even like 220 or something, right? So that's that multiplies with all of that stat that you don't have, and then that's hugely empowering each other. The other thing is because you haven't been playing that long, you haven't been able to do your dailies for that long, so arcane symbol wise you're behind compared to your level, and that's a huge amount of stat as well. Even though it doesn't get multiplied, it's a huge clunk, but that will start catching up real fast now that you have access to all the areas.
Okay. Alright, I think we hit all the points for this. I just have a really, not super random question, but has nothing to do with my main. I've considered making a Demon Slayer at some point, and for those hyper stats, do people still, I guess, I tried joining the Demon Slayer Discord, but you had to have an account. You had to, in order for them to add you, and I haven't made mine yet, so I just was, I'll wait. But is it still worth adding in the Demon Force, I think it's called?
Yeah, a little
Fury?
bit.
Yeah, okay. Because I do have interest in, maybe, like I said, I enjoy playing other colors, so maybe making a Demon Slayer at some point. So I was just a really side random question.
Yeah, there's the just like if you're setting up for bossing and you want to do everything, it's kind of like the same thing we talked about with the critical rate. Like at a certain point, the points are really free, like up to level 5, so you might as well just slam level 5 in, so you never get into any kind of trouble when you're using a bunch of skills at once. And the other thing is that when you are mobbing and you're trying to use the where you're like chaos lock to kind of like the lazier mobbing, where you're just like teleporting through to random monsters and just killing them, then you do need a little bit extra there to be able to keep doing that.
Okay. Alright, I think that's it on my end. I don't think we hit everything, and I'm constantly in the chat, so if I do have anything else, I could always cast you.
Alright. Well, you've got 2 minutes left. You want to do any shout-outs, any open calls? Because you're looking for boss parties in the guild.
Well, shoot. As of right now, I'm gonna probably grind to about midweek, but in the middle of the week, if I can't get the Damien Lotus run on my own, I'll probably be looking for some people. So
okay.
I know the mechanics, guys. If you want to join up with me, we can get it done.
All right, hit him up. Wait, what's your IGN is Onami702?
Onami702. Go ahead, add me. I got my buddy list is empty, guys.
All right, if you're looking for a friend, Reboot NA, hit him up.
I'm here.
I guess the last thing we didn't really talk about is the inner ability. Sometimes that one gets lost a little bit.
So I got the Meso Battalion, and then I got the final damage. I kind of just I think I just happened to roll it right before I got the Meso Battalion. I locked in Meso Battalion at like 18%, and then I got that final damage, and I was like, I only had a little bit of honor experience when I got that, so I was like, I'll just keep it because it's not terrible.
Yeah, well, it is, because it's like it's like a percentage of your defense. So if you see like how much your defense is, you take 23% of that, and then you add that as like a damage number to your hits. It's like
basically nothing.
Yeah, it's basically nothing. So it's like 9,000 or something. So it's like 9k damage. So at a certain point, well, which is already past, it basically does absolutely nothing. I don't know why the stat even exists. So you can definitely be in a situation, I would say, where because you don't need attack speed +1, right? You can be in a situation for sure where you just lock in your Meso Obtain and roll for something that's at least doing something for you in the other two lines.
Okay.
If there is a 50% inner ability, just to get like like an epic line of drop rate or at least something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's another one coming up soon. So.
Yeah, so that should be pretty cheap, and then you just hold on to that until you're really, wanting to do hard loose at hard will, and then you'll have like a mill or more honor experience, and then you can really dedicate to circulators, so you'll have the money for that, and then you can get like a really nice unique line, which I don't know exactly what you're looking for. I assume you're looking for like boss attack. Oh, crit. Okay.
I think it was crit rate, and then just flat attack, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah. Or like damage to debuffed or damage to bosses, like all of that stuff is typically in the same realm of efficiency. So any of those kind of outcomes will be what you're looking for on a circulator then, and then just lock that and roll the top line, see if you can get two useful lines out of it.
Easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for already knowing a whole bunch of stuff. Let's just get through things, and thanks for having checked out the commands. So that gives you more specific questions to ask. That's also very useful, I think.
Yes.
And yeah, I think you're already well on your way, and you clearly already have a lot of knowledge from Bera, so you can just continue that line, and or any other character that you were looking at that you liked playing. You'll basically just copy the same strat as here, and the only thing that really changes is once you get into the late stages of the mid game and the early late game is that you might push some equips faster than others based on the RNG for backups, but that's pretty much it.
Right, yeah, I'm already getting friend requests, so that already works.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
But
Well, those are the real ones because they're actually looking for people, so.
Yeah, they came to me. That's great.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Thanks for all you do. I appreciate all you do. You do a lot for the community, and you're not recognized enough for it, in my opinion. But appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I wish you best of luck, and I'll see you around in the chat and on Discord if you need anything.
All right, we'll do. Take care.
All right, you too. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
All right, exactly at the 1:30 mark. Beautiful. Not a 2-hour session today, so if you're toteming, you still have half an hour. Good luck. Hopefully you just refreshed your third round of half-hour buffs. Keep it up. Yeah, so if any of these things made sense to you and helped you out getting forward in the game and your progression throughout everything that's available in the game, I'm glad. If it didn't make any sense, swing by the stream, ask some questions. I stream live every day over at Scardor. Twitch.tv/Scardor. And you can also use all of the commands that I've opened up here. All of this information is also available all through the chat, through the command function with the bots. If you would like to sign up for one of these sessions, make sure you check the description of the video or use the coaching command in the Twitch stream. And if you would like to win one of these sessions, make sure you leave a comment that you would like to win with your Discord name, and I will reach out. Every month I draw 2 lucky winners. And lastly, you could also get a session if you are a subscriber on the Twitch channel and you watch the stream enough. You can also buy a session with your Moses, as we call it, which is Mesos, but the vowels are switched. If you have enough Moses in the Stream Elements store. So that's another way of getting one of these sessions. Other than that, I hope that you guys enjoyed, or maybe you're falling asleep now. Good night. Fall asleep. ASMR. And I'll see you either on the next session or I will see you live on Twitch when I'm streaming every day. So feel free to drop by. And yeah, everyone's always welcome. So thanks and see you then.